My ex-husband. And the reason he's my ex is because he left me when I fell pregnant with his baby. And it's not because he didn't want a child. I'm only pregnant because he begged me to have a baby. But guess what? We found out that our baby is going to be born with Down syndrome. And he left me. He told me to get rid of the baby, and I did not. This is my baby, and I will see through it that I am the mother, and I will love this kid to the day that I die. However, he's not very happy with that, so he left me. He went and found a much younger girl, and these were his exact words. I'm going to find a lover who can have a normal baby. That's right, he's saying our son is not normal. Well, you know what? I have something to say about that. Hey guys, my name's Allie. I'm currently 8 months pregnant with a baby who has Down syndrome. My husband Freddie and I found that out pretty early on, and this caused a lot of trouble between us, leading us to finally get a divorce. I met Freddie at a bar 2.5 years ago. He seemed charming and we began talking. One thing led to another, and by the end of the month we were dating. Within the next few months, we were living together. We're very different people, but initially I had thought that that's what will make us a strong couple. He was ambitious and got what he wanted, and every time he is a risk taker, and he usually calculates all of the risk right. I was honestly in awe of him, especially because I knew almost nothing about the stock market world, being a primary school teacher. He was so good to me. He loved me and gave me gifts all the time, and not once in our relationship did I not feel loved. Even when we were fighting, I still felt it, and I never thought that he might not love me. After all, how could a man who gave you gifts and showed you his appreciation all the time not love you? I was so wrapped up in him that when he asked me to marry him on our 1-year anniversary, I thought it was the most romantic thing ever. Well, you see, yes, I also thought that Freddie got what he wanted always, and I was the one that he wanted. I did feel very special with him, you can say. I felt important to him at that. So, of course, there were issues. There always were. He was sloppy at home and rarely helped around even when I needed help. I would get angry, and he would be so sweet to me that I would melt and forgive him almost at the same time. He's such a sweet talker, and I could just never stay mad at him for long. Now that I actually just think back, maybe these were his manipulation tactics that I simply missed. We soon got married, and I have to admit it was a perfect engagement. He was attentive, he was involved, I met his family, and absolutely, charmed mine. Once our families had intermingled, we'd started planning our wedding. His sister was very involved in helping us prepare as well. Soon after getting married, we began talking about having a baby, but our pregnancy journey turned out to be rockier than we had initially expected it to be. It took us a few months to get pregnant, and we had to go through a lot of fertility treatment. It was already traumatizing, and over that, I miscarried the first baby, which was even more traumatizing to me. Not so much to Freddie. See, Freddie was a bit flippant about my miscarriage, and I felt very angry at him for it. He didn't seem very sad about it. And I felt that it was very inappropriate of a reaction to losing our baby. But I also thought that people reacted differently to traumatizing incidents, However, when he realized that I did not like his reaction of his joking about just making another baby, he immediately apologized for being so insensitive. I should have taken that as a warning from God, but I didn't. If only I had picked up on such an obvious red flag, I would not be in my current situation. The next time we got pregnant, we were overly cautious, even though the doctor reassured us that the previous miscarriage wasn't our fault. We just didn't want to take any chances, and I ate well. I exercised every day, and Freddie even joined me to keep me motivated. He even started helping around the house to reduce any of my stress levels that I would have. However, at one of our screenings, the sonographer informed us that we might have a baby with Down syndrome. She did, however, reassure us that it was not 100% diagnosis at all. But Freddie had grown concerned after that, asking me if we should just, get rid of the baby. I was not going to get rid of the baby, just because there was a slight chance that he or she would be born with Down syndrome and had grown very mad at him the next few weeks to come. So, a few weeks later, he began forcing me to go through with, a procedure where a sample of amniotic fluid from the amniotic sac surrounding the fetus is extracted. The fluid contains cells shed by the fetus, which can be analyzed to provide valuable information about the baby's health and development. Well, I was very, very scared to go through with it, but Freddie was very persistent. He claimed that he just wanted to be sure that our baby was safe and sound, so I took it. The results were the same. My baby has Down syndrome, and Freddie was not happy. When we went home, he told me that we need to get rid of the pregnancy before it's too late. I was shocked at his stance and tried to reassure him that it wasn't a big deal, but he was inconsolable, even going further and getting me, an appointment to do it, while I was still right there in the room crying. So, out of frustration and anger, I told him that I was not getting rid of it no matter what. He told me that if I wanted to have this abomination, then I would have to do it alone. He said that he won't be responsible for, this type of kid, and that I would have to go through that alone. Without him, I was taken back. He told me to think it through and told me that I had a week to decide. I don't know why he gave me a week. My decision was already made. You see, I grew up in a very Christian family. I don't believe in terminations, and I think they should be banned. But my faith does not allow me to do that to myself and my kid. And, over that, I love that baby already so darn much. I didn't care that he or she has Down syndrome. For me, it's my baby. And I told Freddie that as I left him, because he didn't want to take responsibility for his own child. I was terrified. I didn't know if I could raise a special needs child on my own. After all, I was just a primary school teacher, and we don't get paid very much. However, my elder brothers stepped up. They offered to help me by babysitting when I had the baby, and my sister-in-law even offered to accompany me to all of the doctor meetings and appointments. Well, they never left me and made me even feel like I was alone in this journey at all, even though I had hoped that it would be Freddie beside me during all this. So we soon went and got divorced. It took us about 4 more months to be able to get rid of each other, and last week was when we were officially separated. And you would not believe what he did. Apparently, I've been going through his pregnancy alone, going through all the pains alone when he was starting another life with somebody else already. Freddie had brought his new girlfriend to our last hearing. While I was sitting 8 months pregnant with his baby just a few feet away, he was busy loving on his new little plaything. But turns out that she isn't just his plaything. When the divorce was official, he introduced me to his new girlfriend, Jillian, 27, female, 4 months pregnant with his normal baby, as he called it. I'd been shocked to find out that that moment I'd left him, he had gone to another woman and gotten somebody else pregnant. The audacity of this man. I'd spent almost 3 years on him and was having his baby, but he had thrown it all out without any remorse or guilt. He didn't care that he had lost somebody who loved him and who he apparently loved. That made me wonder if he ever truly loved me in the first place, and you can't get over someone you love immediately, right? How could he have moved on so quickly and gotten someone pregnant if he actually, truly loved me? I was disgusted and horrified by all his behavior, but I pretended to be strong. Like nothing was wrong as I extended my hand to his baby mama when he introduced us. She seemed equally as uncomfortable with the exchange as I felt on, my side. But Freddie didn't seem to really care, you see. As I think about our past, I don't think he ever cared. He was always caring about his gains in the stock market, and he's very, very calculative. I always thought it to be endearing, but maybe it was just manipulative. Now, I'm sitting here, 8 months pregnant, ready to pop soon, and I have to deal with another one of Freddie's betrayals. He technically slept with a woman while we weren't separated, and if I'm calculating right, I haven't even, procured a lawyer when he did this to me. I can't believe he's been planning on doing this all the while we were going through something so horrible in our marriage. I feel betrayed, but most importantly, I feel used. Poor woman. She must feel even worse. It must be horrible to realize that the man you're having a baby with is only having a baby with you because he failed to do so with his first wife, and is now using you to make her jealous for her, quote, shortcomings. I truly feel sorry for her, but mostly I feel anger and pure resentment towards my husband. I just seriously think that I'm losing it at this moment, and that is the reason why I wrote this post, thinking you people could give me some sane, provide me with some suggestions even. Let me know what you would do. What's up, guys? Mr. Reddito here. Oh boy. So I found a few comments that got a lot of heat and attention in the comment section. There's 2 comments that I wanted to look over, so let's hop into the first one, guys. And if you're not subscribed to the channel, take a second, hit that subscribe button, and make sure, if you're enjoying the video, you don't forget to hit the like button as well, guys. Comment number 1 says, "Hey, I'm sorry, Allie, that Freddie turned out to be such a shallow person. I know it was too late to realize that, but at least your kid won't have someone like him to bring him or her down ever again. And if you both had not decided to split, your kid would grow up with resentment towards the father who he has, but who doesn't love him. You and the kid will be better off without him. And I pity the woman who he got pregnant. I mean, poor girl probably didn't even have an idea that she was getting into this. Freddie seems like such a horrible man. I'm glad that you realized his true nature in time, and kids with Down syndrome are truly special in the best ways possible. See, I have a niece who does have Down syndrome, and she brightens every room that she enters. She's curious and always knows when you're sad and would go to any lengths to make you smile. Trust me, you're lucky to be having such a special kid in your life, and it's Freddie's loss that he doesn't have either of you anymore." Comment number 2 by D_582 says, "This was a very unfortunate situation, especially for your kid who will have to grow up without a father. Every child needs a father figure in their lives to keep them in line. Mothers can be too passive at times and too lenient. A kid needs to have a firm hand, that of a father. You and Freddie should have communicated more and should have done anything to make it work out. Allie, you were too stubborn for your own good, and now your kid will have to grow fatherless. I do pity the poor child for this, and maybe you should have bent your principles for this unusual situation. You see, your next kid could have been the one without Down syndrome. Marriage is all about what we call compromise. And I just saw you complaining about it and not making it work, when you didn't even think about compromising even once. I mean, come on. This is why marriage crumbles so easily these days. People aren't ready to compromise, and you just like to complain and whine on the internet." Update number 1. Hey everyone, so it's Allie again. I know it's been about 5 months since my last update? Yeah, it's been a pretty long time, and I wasn't even going to update, but some funny things have happened in me and Freddie's life that I thought that you should know about. I've given birth to a baby girl a bit later than expected delivery date. But miraculously, my baby girl was born without Down syndrome. It was a false positive, they're saying. Yeah, it's relatively rare with the testing that I did, but I just called it a miracle. I don't want my daughter to grow up in a world where they call her all sorts of names just because she was different. I mean, come on. But turns out it looks like God was on my side. Well, as always. She's about 4 months of age now, and she's absolutely perfect. My siblings and cousins have been generous in helping me take care of the little munchkin. I've decided to take a year off because of all the money that I got from the divorce. It's possible now, and I've been spending quality time with my daughter, keeping my head low. I had not told Freddie about our daughter's health, not wishing to see his face ever again, even if it was to rub it in his face that he ruined a perfect family, all because of his prejudices. I've gotten low on groceries, and usually one of my siblings restock my pantry. However, I was getting low on diapers as well, so I decided to step out with my daughter for a few hours, and I thought that it was perfectly safe, and I wanted to acquaint her with the outside world as well. I was shopping with one eye on my baby girl when I was approached by Nessa, my ex-sister-in-law. See, Nessa and we were not particularly close, but we liked each other. She really helped us out during our wedding preparation, and I only ever had a good thing to say about her. Nessa was just absolutely shocked to find that my baby looked, quote, normal. Not all babies with Down syndrome look like they have Down syndrome, so I knew that she wanted to know. So she began to ask me how we were doing, and I told her the truth. I told her that we were doing pretty well, my siblings were helping me out in the first few months after having the baby, and that motherhood was treating me well. I put her out of her misery when she tried to ask the question without directly asking me. I told her that her brother broke a perfect family for nothing, because my daughter did in fact not have Down syndrome. That's when she burst out laughing, telling me I wouldn't believe how Freddie got his karma. She revealed to me that his new girlfriend Jillian just gave birth a week ago, and turns out that her son does have Down syndrome. Well, I was shocked, but there was also this sense of easiness that just came over to me, and Nessa also revealed that Freddie has not gone to see his son with Jillian because of this. He's been horrible to Jillian ever since she gave birth, blaming her for giving birth to a slur word of a child. Of course, I was sad that now the poor woman would be subjected to the same treatment that I was subjected to from Freddie all these months ago, but I was happy that now Freddie, he got what he deserved, his karma. I knew God was on my side, if I kept my faith and did not waver, and this is proof. I'm sure Freddie would regret everything he did when he thought that we were having a baby with Down syndrome. Now, you know what? I'll be the one laughing. Update number 2. Hey everyone, so this is Ali again. In my last update a week ago, I told you that me and my ex had expected a baby with Down syndrome. But turned out that I did not have a baby with Down syndrome after all, but his new girlfriend, whom he had gotten pregnant just to make me jealous, did in fact have a baby that came out with Down syndrome. Nessa, my ex-sister-in-law, who I had run into at the grocery store last week, must have told Freddie about our daughter being born without, anything wrong with her. Because Freddie was at my doorstep this afternoon, and I was with my big brother when the doorbell rang. He was trying to calm my daughter down, so I went to check who was at the door. I was shocked to find that it was Freddie right there standing there with a bouquet of my favorite flowers and a teddy bear, which I'm assuming was for my daughter. I don't know if he thought I was that easily bought by, flowers or what, but he told me that he was there to meet his daughter with a big charming smile that used to work on me. I almost laughed in his face if he thought that we had the same relationship now as we used to have back when we were together. I told him that he wasn't allowed to meet her. When I tried to shut the door in his face, he tried to convince me. He claimed that now that I had a normal baby, we could go back to being the perfect family that we were, like what he did wasn't even a big deal. Guys, I absolutely laughed in his face, asking if he has lost his mind, if he's crazy. He frantically told me that he loved me and that he made a huge mistake by leaving me all those months ago. But I could forgive him and we could go back to being what we were. But I didn't want to go back to that now that I knew his true colors. I mean, come on. I told him that he was not welcome in my house, and neither was he welcome to be my daughter's father. He had grown angry at this point, and he said that I was throwing a perfect opportunity away without even thinking at all. I reminded him that he had discarded us all those months ago, and, without even thinking it through, he reminded me that he had apologized for it already, and he said that it must be hard, raising a kid of my own, and he just wanted to help a little. I was starting to grow tired, guys, of his unreasonable request and told him to go back. He said that I don't have to forgive him, but at least he can meet his daughter. I told him to spend time with his son that he had with Jillian and leave us be. Well, that seemed to have made him mad, but he kept his anger in check as he pleaded and not wanted to ruin his chances even further. I went ahead and called my big brother out and told him to get rid of Freddie for me when he just would not leave me alone. He began pushing Freddie out, all the while Freddie threatened me that he would go to the police with this. He claimed that no one could keep him away from his own blood, which is ironic because he was the one who ran away in the first place, so I guess he can keep himself away. Can you believe this man's audacity? He's arrogant. Freddie is used to getting what he wants, but this time I'll make sure that he does not get what he wants. He hurt me, and he thinks that I'll just come crawling back to him just because he apologized. How pathetic does he think that I am? Now, if he comes for me, I'll come for him. If he thinks that he can just get my daughter's custody, I'll make sure that he pays for the child support completely. Update number 3. Hey everyone, it's Ali here. I know it's been 2 months since my last update, and Freddie had gone to court wanting custody of my daughter after he had abandoned the both of us months ago when he thought that she had Down syndrome. I was just waiting for the case to come to a conclusion, to be honest with you, before I went and told anyone about it. My lawyer had reassured me since the beginning that Freddie had a very, very bad track record, and that, seriously, the court would not, under any single circumstances, give him custody of my daughter. Especially not after he abandoned his son with Jillian as well, who has Down syndrome. And she was right. The court ruled in my favor, and it was ironic that the lawyer I had gotten from the money that I had gotten during the divorce was the one who got me the victory. However, I'd filed for child support to get back at Freddie for his behavior. The court tells Freddie to pay for our daughter's upbringing, all the while he wasn't even allowed to meet her. I'm just glad that my daughter won't have a father like him, a father who can so easily abandon his kids because he doesn't deem them perfect enough. I do feel pity for Jillian and her son. On our way out of the courthouse, Freddie called out to me. I didn't even want to look at him, so I kept on going down the stairs, but he caught up to me. He grabbed my arm when I was just a few steps away from the ground, and he forcefully, looked at me. And his eyes were so crazy. For the first time, I felt truly scared of him in the moment, and he told me that he would be a perfect father if only I gave him the chance, and how could I possibly do this to him and our daughter? I tried to get his hand off my arm, but I couldn't. I told him to let me go, but he kept on babbling and pleading, and I tried to push his hand off me, but he would not let go. So I threw all my might in my other hand and pushed against him. Well, due to this, I lost my balance and I started to fall backwards, down the remaining flight of stairs, and you can say that this caught a lot of people's attention, including my brother, who rushed towards me. When he saw the bruises on my arm and the shape of Freddie's hand and the tears in my eyes, oh boy, he was absolutely ready to throw a punch at Freddie, but people around pulled them apart. When we found out that I had sprained my ankle due to Freddie, my brother insisted that I get a restraining order against him. I agreed because I've been truly frightened of Freddie for a moment there, even though I was in public. So I'm going to get that restraining order against old Freddie, just to ensure that he can never hurt me nor my daughter ever again, especially because he seems to have gone a bit crazy. It's the best course of action for us, in my opinion. Final update number 4. Hey guys. It's Ali on this side once again, and I think this is truly going to be my last update on all this drama. It's been 5 more months since my last update, and I thought that I should finish off with one last update of where we all are. Well, I successfully got a restraining order against Freddie after how he behaved with me outside of the courthouse in front of everyone. He's no longer allowed to be anywhere near me nor my daughter. He still has to give child support and did not get custody of my daughter because of how easy it is for him to just abandon his kids. I don't know how he's doing. I haven't kept tabs on him or anything, even though I do regularly meet his sister every now and again. But I do receive child support in time, and that's really all I care about. I did contact Jillian just after the incident with Freddie. He had done exactly what he had done to me to her. I'd felt super bad for her and tried to reach out. Well, we're friends now, letting our kids play together even, and I don't want Julian's son to grow up the way that I had thought my daughter would grow up back when I thought that she would be born with Down syndrome. I did have a bit of resentment towards Jillian in the beginning, but she truly seems to be nothing more than a good woman. So it melted away sooner rather than later, and also, our kids are considered half-siblings, and we both wish for them to have a sibling relationship, and a partner that they can grow up with and be friends with. Family is very, very important to me, unlike Freddie, so when I wanted my daughter to meet her half-brother, Jillian, she even agreed. Nessa, my ex-sister-in-law, has also kind of joined our little small group because of how much she hates Freddie. My daughter's doing great as well, and she's growing into a great little girl. She's such a happy bean who absolutely loves eating food. Once I began feeding her solid food, she was addicted. She absolutely loves fruit, and she's doing pretty good. Well, guys, I'm also doing fine. I'll soon go back to school, and I'm truly excited for the start of the semester. I haven't jumped back into dating just yet with a young daughter and everything, but Nessa has been constantly trying to set me up with her friend, who she thinks that'll be perfect for me because he's also a teacher. Well, that's it. Thank you for listening to my story, and It had been very hard for me when I found out that my ex-husband had so easily replaced me and my baby. It was nice knowing that somebody out there was reading about what I was going through. Top comments from the final update. Comment number 1 says, "Wow, I'm so glad that everything turned in your favor, Allie. You and your daughter deserve nothing but the absolute best. I'm glad that Freddie got exactly what he deserved as well. He does not deserve to be a father. He doesn't even deserve to be around any kids for that matter. I can just imagine him bullying as a father, criticizing his kids for absolutely the smallest mistakes, and I'm so glad that you did not end up taking him back like most people probably would have, or just let him into your daughter's life. He doesn't deserve either of you. He does not even deserve Jillian and her son. He ruined so many relationships in his life and forgot to value them just because he wanted, quote, a normal kid? Come on! Well, trust me, your kids will grow up just fine, maybe even better, anyways from his prejudices. I wish you and your daughter all the happiness in the world, and I'm sure you'll find somebody who will love you for exactly who you both are." Second comment, final comment from Iggy_2387. "Hey Allie, I understand that you were mad at Freddie for how he behaved when he found out that you were having a baby with Down syndrome, but you're taking away your daughter's father figure just because Freddie bruised your little ego. You should have thought this situation through and through, and you could have forgotten Freddie's past mistakes to give your daughter a normal childhood, but you let your ego, yep, your ego, straight up get into the way because Freddie did not choose you. I think you made a huge mistake. Every girl needs a father in her life to teach her how to grow up in a respectable young woman. But you just took the opportunity away from her because you're angry at him for how he treated you, and he was back and wanted to be better, and you didn't even give him the chance of day to prove to you that he's changed. You should rethink how you acted for your own daughter's sake, and that's what I have to say about that." You know, this story was so horrible, and the reason I'm saying it was so horrible is because Freddie. How can Freddie, somebody that was supposed to be such a good man, as OP described him early on, turn to such an absolute demon? I mean, he didn't want to be a part of his kid's life because the kid was going to be born with Down syndrome. That's literally the only reason. It's not because he wasn't ready to be a dad. It's not because he didn't want to be a dad. It's just simply because the kid was not born, quote, how he wanted it. So he runs away to another girl, abandoning his wife and his child, and says, you know what? I'll just have a baby with this woman. A lot of the comments were not very happy about that. A lot of the comments said that, well, he deserved way worse than anything that happened to him in this story, and I just want to see your side, your perspective behind it, guys. Drop your thoughts in the comment section. This is a story I really want to hear from you on. My name's Mr. Reddito. I narrate stories like this every day. If you guys want to be a part of these stories, consider subscribing, guys. Have a great day. I'll see you tomorrow, and of course, remember, it's cool to be kind. See ya.